Hello, I'm Nisa Soufriere and welcome to the launch of Emancipation Celebration 2022. Enkindling our consciousness is a recognition of our past and an awareness of our struggles towards shaping our identity as a nation. Emancipation 2022 is part of a 3-year plan that will provide ongoing opportunities for us St. Lucians to, borrowing from the late great Robert Nesta Marley, emancipate ourselves from mental slavery and free our minds from the one-sided interpretations of emancipation.
The act of being free from bondage. It speaks to a process of liberation from influence, control, or the power of another from slavery. It is freedom from a system or systems of oppression. Emancipation in St. Lucia, the Caribbean, or the West Indies spans continuous, courageous, and critical attempts by the region's inhabitants, beginning with the first peoples, the Amerindians, to take back their humanity and reject European slavery and colonization. Enslaved Africans increased and sustained revolutionary activities during the late 18th to 19th century throughout the region's French, Dutch, Spanish, and British colonies. These revolts also influenced unrest among the region's indentured laborers in the British colonies. The Emancipation Celebration is a story of African and indigenous peoples' triumph over European white supremacy. It is to remind our people of the victorious struggles of their ancestors and to engage their input in building of a new society, a society representing their own ideals, own cultural, social, economic, and political development, which are the prerequisites for a free and independent nation and region.
Greetings and an act of love, enkindling our consciousness. We the Rastafari people no longer see ourselves as victims but as victors, guides towards the national discussions and development of our country.
Emancipation moi c'est pouvoir moi ni pour développer comme nation moi.
Enkindling our consciousness is about recognizing our past, embracing our identity, and looking towards the future.
Emancipation is my right and my freedom to live as I please and to continue learning from my ancestors.
My emancipation is learning to be free. As a result of the trauma endured during the tenure of slavery, I am now learning to be free.
To enkindle our consciousness, to ensure that we emancipate ourselves from mental slavery from the standpoint that only we can free our minds. Emancipation Month 2022, enkindling our consciousness.
Now, the story of emancipation is a part of all of us, one that we should be willing to understand and embrace. 𝐂𝐚𝐥𝐬 tells her story through this thought-provoking piece, The Reintroduction.
I wish it were as simple as affirmations and positive words. If history had always been as delicious as the filling of your tongue, caressing the roof of your mouth, when you said words like caramel, mocha, and chocolate to describe your skin tone, then this reintroduction would have been so much easier. Now, Malcolm X asked the question, who taught you to hate yourself? And in reply, I asked Brother Malcolm, who didn't? I mean, who hasn't? Every step towards self-love as a black person is revolutionary. Every embrace of skin, every pleased inhalation, every welcome caress is defiance. Black love has always been self-taught. Black skin, it tastes like struggle. Salty sweet with a hint of hope on your palate, tempting you to return to indulge in it, because nothing this sweet should be so painful to swallow. Now, double jeopardy is a term that is used to signify that one cannot be tried for the same crime twice. This means you only have one opportunity to bring together all of the evidence that you have and to put a case as solid as possible to either get this person convicted or released. You do not have the free rein to keep punishing them over and over. It is a slap in the face of fairness, but to be black and woman is the physical manifestation of double jeopardy. It is wearing your crime in the swing of your hips and the hue of your skin. It is being seen as too strong to need protection and weak enough to be taken advantage of. We ride the lines of being too much and not enough every day. I fell in love with my hair because everything around me told me that I shouldn't. I dare not rock that fro or stay away from a comb or glorify my mane. I am in gratitude for the width of my hips and the strength of my thighs. I will not apologize for my size. And whenever the act of rebellion is preceded by the promise of love, count me in. Write my name down twice. I have attributed anything worth having to be accompanied by a plethora of reasons why I shouldn't have it. Now, there is something gravity-defying about a black man. Regardless of the rules that are in place to say otherwise, he refuses to stay down. His spirit has no anchor, and his wings, even at rest, will still hover. Black man, black woman, you need to remember who you are. You are not the descendants of slaves. You are the great-grandchildren of inventors and doctors and artists who were stolen. You are the bloodline of royalty lied about. You are ancestors returning without chains. Your skin is your asset. Remember who you are. Look at me, you, Osiris, god of agriculture, death, and resurrection. Look at me, yes, you, Thoth, the god of writing, wisdom, and inventor of languages. Lift your chest up, Sekhmet, goddess of medicine, healing, and destruction. Walk tall, Ma'at, goddess of harmony, justice, and truth. These are the beliefs that forged you. This is your historical foundation. Before they gave you Jesus, you had Amun-Ra. Before you cut sugarcane and picked cotton, you built pyramids. Before you were sold and plundered and exploited, you invented medicine. And before you were told that you were subhuman man, you taught the world to read. This is who you are. This is what you are capable of. And eons ago, this is what you did. Imagine what you are capable of doing now. With the broad nose, imagine. With the woolly hair, imagine. With the dark skin, imagine. With the centuries of pain that is yours to transform. Just imagine. You are not an apology. You never will. Now, act like it.
Thank you, Kishma, for this affirmation of self-love and resisting labels attached to our uniqueness. And speaking of resistance, slave rebellion occurred before emancipation, and even after emancipation, riots continued. That's according to Sir William Arthur Lewis. However, here's an interesting fact. 1804, Haiti became the first country to abolish the slave trade and establish the world's first Black republic. That in itself is an event to celebrate, acknowledge, and draw parallels to. That reminds me of some recent changes in governance in one of our sister islands. You know, as a people, anything we put our minds to, we can definitely accomplish. As we reflect on our past, we grow in appreciation for our present, and we look forward to our future, convinced that anything is possible. Here's Diana Phillip with an inspiring number.
And I close my eyes and smile. Sometimes I feel like the richest queen in Babylon, 'cause I've done my best and everything's alright inside. Oh, every morning I rise, I stare at the sun. I know it is a blessing. So when the evening comes, I lift up my eyes to the hills, I'm blessed, oh yes. Ooh. Sometimes I'm lost and far from home, but I find my way. I follow my heart, I know I'll be found someday. While I'm lost, I learn and live. What do you say? Let's have a good time until that day. Oh, every morning I rise, I stare at the sun. I know it is a blessing. So when the evening comes, I lift up my hands to the hills, I'm blessed, oh yes. Every morning I rise and stare at the sun. I know it is a blessing. So when the evening comes, I lift up my hands to the hills, I'm blessed, oh yeah. So when the evening comes, I lift up my hands to the hills, I'm blessed, oh yes. Lift up my hands to the hills, lift up my eyes to the hills. I'm grateful, I'm so thankful for all you've done for me, where you've taken me, everything I have. Zach Popo, ladies and gentlemen. I lift up my eyes, I'm so thankful for all you've done for me, for all you've taken me from, for everything I am. I'm thankful, I'm thankful, I'm so thankful, so thankful. Oh. to my city, I'm blessed, oh yes.
As far as I can. Now, for some fun facts. When did emancipation begin and when exactly did it end? Fact: 1807. King George III signed the Abolition of the Slave Trade Act, banning it across the British Empire. Fact: August 1st, 1834. Emancipation Day marked the official end of slavery in the British Empire. And fact: August 1st, 1838. Enslaved Africans throughout the British Empire were freed from chattel slavery. The Cultural Development Foundation is spearheading the Emancipation celebrations for 2022, supported by the National Reparations Committee, the NRC, among other organizations. Let's get some background from the ED of CDF, Ramona Henry Wynn, and the chairman of the NRC, Earl Bousquet, with some more titillating entertainment to follow.
Welcome viewers at home and the diaspora. The Cultural Development Foundation, with the support of the Ministry of Tourism, Investment, Creative Industries, Culture and Information, in collaboration with Events Company of St. Lucia, will present Emancipation 2022 to 2024 under the theme Enkindling Our Consciousness. The concept and theme created by the CDF is focused on raising a deep awareness and appreciation of our people on what emancipation really means to us, how it has shaped and directed us. We share the view that inclusivity is the sure way of getting the message across to all spheres of our society. Our history must evoke in us a spirit of consciousness to the plight of our forefathers who battled to ensure that today we are a free people. Our partners will do their part through a number of exciting activities over a 3-month period. The exciting program encompasses areas of interest for all age groups and will be executed through live and virtual formats. There will be exciting educational programs to enkindle our consciousness through arts, politics, culture, landscape, and people.
The St. Lucia National Reparations Committee is pleased to be associated with this venture to sponsor a month of activities to help the citizens better understand what Emancipation Day really means to Caribbean people today, and especially Caribbean people of African descent. We all grew up celebrating Emancipation Day as a holiday every August 1st, but too many of us never knew why, except what we were taught. But every Caribbean nation has its own emancipation-related stories and pre-emancipation heroes, and Emancipation Month 2022 will start a 3-year project to better inform and educate St. Lucians about what emancipation was supposed to have been, what it actually was, and why and how it should be remembered. There are intrinsic links between slavery and emancipation, apprenticeship and indentureship, and the call by CARICOM leaders almost 9 years ago for reparations from Britain and Europe for slavery and native genocide in the colonial West Indies. We thank former Prime Minister Dr. Kenny D. Anthony for contributing to the formation of the CARICOM Reparations Commission and supporting, or should I say, and appointing the National Reparations Committee in St. Lucia in November of 2013. And we deeply thank Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre for allocating 11 times more resources to this project for a fundamentally better understanding of the place and role of emancipation in Caribbean history. We look forward to this project igniting by kindling and or enkindling our consciousness in year 1, rekindling that consciousness in year 2, and by year 3, hopefully, for us to all be in a better position to better understand why and how to approach Bob Marley's eternal message to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery, because, as he keeps reminding us, none but ourselves can free our minds. Here's to an eye-opening and mind-freeing Emancipation Month 2022.
My emancipation is to be free and who I am.
Enkindling our consciousness is about bringing an awareness to our past. It truly allows us to appreciate who we are and to celebrate that freedom we enjoy today.
Leve kachil nou. C'est l'occasion pour nous réfléchir, pour nous garder corps nous et puis adresser c'est 𝐔𝐧𝐯 qui a affecté nous.
Enkindling our consciousness, evoking a burning desire, understanding and appreciation for the process that governed our circumstances and decision-making through the struggles of our forefathers that influence the people that we have become. Let us tell our story. Let us celebrate our victories.
Do we actually think that we're really free? See, that's the question. Because, I mean, eventually, will there ever be a point where we dig a little deeper to probably find the next book in the chapter, to maybe see if there's really more to the story? I mean, we've never looked beyond belief, but say we know truth, but still not set free. So we sing Bob Marley so proudly that after all these years, you'd figure, you people still can't emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. I mean, do you even understand your capacity? Mine's as ruthless as the ocean. You reach your limits, yet you shine. Your mind's entwined in the line of the divine, the true vine roots deep in your souls. So who else can stop me, if not me, if I decided to see this world? But I've glimpsed it. Life. And it's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be fulfilled. So make a mistake and then another one and another one. Then shake the dust off your feet. Because who knows what tomorrow brings? It's like life teaches a test for tomorrow's lesson, but without the right information, what's the point of the next day's session? I mean, do you even understand what happens in this world that we live in? Apart from what they make us see on TV, then from young in school, they write it in our books to adjust the way that we see, they make it mandatory. You see, all that dirty laundry constantly got our minds brainwashed with no gain. So we just buy lies and then we're sold. But I've been told to stop being told how to think and do it yourself. See the true colors. Taste the rainbow, then follow. Because on the other side, there is gold. But we die for lack of knowledge. But we can live and learn. But for those who reject knowledge, where are we even going? I mean, is that why they say, hey, let's starve them? So now we hunger to be fed lies, and if we don't hear, they make these death hand signs, hatred in their red eyes against you. You're under again jitsu, and what's worse is that you don't flinch too. So as the hand clicks, the clock ticks, in time when baited people become weak, and then they start to fear truth instead of its reality. So instead of facing it, we look away and prefer to speak positivity. Now that says a lot to me. That we rather make our beds behind these bars with the keys in our pockets, then we lock it. And look, we say it's raining outside. If I get wet, I might get sick, so why risk it? Let that sink. But here's some food for thought. You see, you're not free because you were let out of the jail cell. They're given the liberty to walk the prison courts. Nah, that's plain freedom. So crack your skull open, get those thoughts rolling, and freedom. Because the truth is, people don't love the idea of freedom because it ain't free. Just put them in a box living comfortably, throw them in a pen, give them what they think they need, because these sheeple, they just hate the idea of a slavery. So they play we. I mean, really, how can you call freedom being taken, then accept charity like it was freely given? You see, freedom is not disintegration to exploitation. How is that even accepted as a normal way of living? Look, if I said, here's your independence, but still have you dependent, that's not redemption, that's deception. Because the road to liberation is through rebellion only, with obedience to Yah. And if only we got that revelation, we could start a revolution. If only we had more vision and more support to our brethren, we could build a nation. If only we could settle our disputes. But instead we run to outsiders who take our stuff, then come ride us, a couple chains to downsiders, then bind us. I mean, I know we love to shake our, but can someone please take these shacks off our feet so we can actually learn how to dance? I mean, that'll be a dream. But don't mind me, I'm just blowing off steam. I swear we on the same team still. Faded it seems, but once you open our eyes and let the scene be seen, whew, then we gleam. But we're still running to a point of no return. We're looking for Eden, with no idea where we're heading. We're just running. So blink, and that's liberty.
My emancipation is my right to articulate my thoughts, my freedom to express those thoughts, my right to be myself, my freedom to be me and embrace my heritage. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds.
Enkindling our consciousness is talking to us as a people in terms of liberating ourselves, moving away from materialistic way of life into a level where we are taking care of our brothers and sisters.
Enkindling our consciousness, arousing our awareness. As a people, it's important that we are aware of where we're coming from, who are our ancestors, what are our traditions, what are our cultural identity, as this forms a fundamental basis of who we are, our knowledge of self, and what we can aspire to achieve and achieve.
Our past does not dictate our path. Enkindling our consciousness is about igniting an awareness of our past struggles and triumphs to nurture an empowered future.
Emancipation 2022 promises to be an exciting, edutaining, engaging time of activities, all culminating in the month of August. Let's take in the calendar of events and be sure to save the dates.
St. Lucia celebrates Emancipation 2022 under the theme Enkindling Our Consciousness, Embracing Our Past, Celebrating Our Heroes and Strides as a People in a series of engaging, educating and entertaining events from July to August 2022. Be part of the movement. Join the celebration by following the calendar of activities. June through to July. Exciting discussions and discoveries in a traveling community and schools education drive. Sunday, 31st July, 8 a.m., a dynamic food display of breadfruit and bread nut festival at the Holy Trinity Anglican Church Annex. Sunday, July 31st, 4 p.m., the historic honoring and unveiling of the Emancipation hero Petroni, Dennery Village. Monday, 1st August, 4 a.m. Live drums and dance ritual converging at the Castries waterfront in a public celebration of song, dance and rhythm. Castries waterfront. Monday, 1st August, 10 a.m. Lecture by Honorable Dr. June Summer, UN Permanent Forum, Decade of People of African Descent, St. Lucia, Caribbean Perspective. Lecture by Sir Hilary Beckles, How Europe Underdeveloped the Caribbean, the St. Lucia Model. Monday, 1st August, 5 p.m. A Freedom Concert featuring St. Lucian musicians, singers, and performers. Soufriere Stadium. Tuesday, 11th August, 8 p.m. Youth Podcast, Voices of the Next Generation, National Youth Council and Interact Rotary St. Lucia. Tuesday, 18th August, 8 p.m. Panel discussion, Distribution and Dispensation of Land Post-Emancipation, NTN Studios. Secrets of the Mountain, a series of hikes to Mount Jimmy. Saturday, August 6th, 13th, 27th from 6:30 a.m. Tuesday, 25th August, 7 p.m. Groundbreaking documentary, Mama La Vie, National Cultural Center. Tuesday, 30th August, 9 a.m. La Oise Festival Guanfête, a sensory experience of color, a celebration of tradition, food and entertainment. Castries Constitution Park and William Peter Boulevard. For more information, go to cdfstlucia.org.
I'm most excited about the drums and dance ritual. Which event are you excited about? Listed as top priority for our government was the commemoration of emancipation with emphasis on education and celebration through a full calendar of activities from June to August. Minister of Tourism, Information, Broadcasting, Culture and Creative Industries, Honorable Dr. Ernest Hilaire, who is leading this charge, will now speak to the rationale for giving emancipation a prominent place on our events calendar.
A people without the knowledge of their past history, origin and culture is like a tree without roots. So said Marcus Garvey. 1st August 2022 will mark 188 years since the official end of slavery and 184 years since enslaved Africans were freed from the bondage of chattel slavery throughout the British Empire. The quote I started with from Marcus Garvey represents the philosophical thinking of why we have been celebrating Emancipation Day since 1838. Emancipation Day should be a time for reflection and introspection of our history as a nation and people, and to use these past experiences to chart a prosperous course for our beloved St. Lucia. My government has reiterated the importance of acknowledging the profound importance of Emancipation Day. This year marks over a century and a half of freedom, not just for slaves, but for all of us. Enkindling our consciousness, the theme for this year's Emancipation celebrations is supposed to invoke a sense of reflection of our history and the blood, sweat and tears that were shed by our ancestors to shape the identity of our beloved island. Over the years, we've been falling into the trap of continuing business as usual on this holiday, rather than observing the significance of the day. This year, we have committed greater resources to the commemoration of emancipation to ensure that we as a people who have benefited from the hardships of our ancestors who were enslaved can begin to understand the true meaning of emancipation. And kindling our consciousness is also the overarching theme that will encompass all emancipation events for the next 3 years here in St. Lucia. It will serve as a catalyst for change through schools and community education programs about emancipation, allowing us to embrace and accept our identity, which will empower us to start charting a new future as a nation. The celebrations aim to encourage wide-scale community and public participation throughout the period of July to September. We will aim to create a greater sense of awareness of emancipation through events that will focus on the pivotal moments of our past into facets of our arts, culture, politics, landscape, and people. Too often, we seem to forget our own history as it relates to slavery. We must always pay homage to the slaves, our ancestors, who toiled on our fertile soils to enrich, not themselves, but rather the colonial powers, and to enrich persons who did not care about human life and did not see us as human beings. Bob Marley says we need to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery, as none but ourselves can free our minds. Let us reflect on this profound clarion call and use it as a base principle and not be caught off guard in a modern world where they may not be physical, but rather mental, economic, and social shackles. As your Minister of Culture and Creative Industries, I will continue to champion on behalf of the government of St. Lucia efforts that will enhance and continue to pay recognition to the importance of such a historic day on our calendar. I look forward to the calendar of activities that have been put together by the Cultural Development Foundation and all stakeholders through the Emancipation Committee, and ask you to reflect on our history, remember our struggles for survival, and conceptualize a bright future for our beautiful Helen of the West.
There you have it, the Emancipation Celebration calendar of events and activities. Thank you for viewing, and good night.
Black man, stop falling down. Black man, get up off the ground. Black man, buckle your shoe. You have plenty work to do. Black man, open your eyes. Black man, you must realize. Black man, it's time to be wise, and you don't have to compromise. You don't have to compromise. No. Now listen. Is it because of our education and we brainwash with what we learn? Tell me, are we taught the truth? Why we stand against reparation and we show so little concern for the undisputed proof? If the Jews get compensation for what Germans do to them for slavery, why can't Europe do the same? Till then, reparations I man proclaim. Black man, stop falling down. Black man, get up off the ground. Black man, buckle your shoe. You have plenty work to do. Black man, open your eyes. Black man, you must realize. Black man, it's time to be wise, and you don't have to compromise. You don't have to compromise, black man.